over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. We'll get to the promised land. We'll get to the promised land.
Romans killing riotous groups that are rising up.
As I turned around quickly, and the next thing I saw was Malcolm falling back in a dead faint.
Killing any potential threat, any potential messiah.
Dr. King left his room, 306, at the Lorraine Hotel just before dinner to get some air. He walked over to the railing at this spot, and noticing some friends below, he leaned over and began to speak with them. Police say 205 feet away, in a window in a flop house, the assassin waited.
Killing any potential threat, any potential messiah.
And Rob, some call that deadly raid the massacre on Monroe Street. Black Panther leaders Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed. Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed. Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed.
Right? Now look at these. I'm telling you, I gotta show y'all. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Just look for yourself. And this is the creme de la creme. All praises be to the Most High, y'all. Everything we've been through, y'all, the Most High is going to retribute it on all the nations that have had a hand in the oppression of his apple, the apple of his eye, his chosen people, his beloved, his fervent lover, his only begotten. They're going to have their part in the lake of fire. You see them tormented by some kind of creature. I don't even know what that even is, y'all. Judgment in chains. He that led into captivity shall go into captivity. All praise to the Most High, y'all. It said, thou that dwells in the clefts of the rock. Whoa, I know a lot of y'all know about the Caucasus Mountains. Let's just let the words speak. Let's go to verse 4. Though you exalt yourself as the eagle, and though you set thy nest among the stars. What's up, Zion Dynasty? This is your favorite dreaded Israelite, the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. JB Zion. Y'all, show me some love, show me some love. You already know what time it is. Your boy is back in the flesh, about to hit y'all with another, oh my goodness, Marv, banger. All glory, honor, dominion, power, majesty, world without end, to the mighty one of Jacob, the Holy One of Yasharal, the Redeemer of the 12 tribes of Israel, even the Resurrector of the dry bones of Zion. All praises be to the Most High, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. And y'all, welcome back to the channel where we bring that smoke. Welcome back to the movement. Welcome back to the resurrection. The greatest awakening, even Zion Dynasty. And first I want to say peace, love, blessings, and more Israelite power to all my Israelite kings and queens. The so-called Crayola color black, two continents slap, all my Israelite brothers and sisters. The Most High has not forgot those that are a part of the greatest awakening, the greatest resurrection of a nation that has ever been on the face of planet Earth. Welcome to the channel, family. I love you all. We could not do this work without y'all. Y'all make this thing possible. Y'all support us. Y'all encourage us. Y'all keep your boy hype. Yoruba Ephraim of the tribe of Joseph. But not just y'all. I gotta say peace, love, blessings, and more Israelite power as well to all the sojourners of Zion, all the Gentiles that are with this awakening. Not the ones that's trolling.
They see what the Israelite talking about. Well, you know, Israel done away with, you know, whosoever will, let them come.
Hey, yo, y'all Israel now. Oh, y'all black folks, oh, y'all Jews, we was kings. Oh, y'all think y'all is Jews, now you Jewish.
And legalism and, yeah, these Israelites trying to turn us back to the law of Moses. And, yeah, neither Jew nor Greek, world without end, that don't matter. Just talking about whosoever will call upon the name of Christ will be saved. For God so loved the world. Well, JB, we ain't saying he didn't came, we just saying he was rainbow. He came for all colors. Don't nobody really know what he looked like.
They saying, well, you can't use Deuteronomy 28.
Even though it says we're gonna go into a country as swift as the eagle flies.
Oh no, you can't use that.
Even though it says we're gonna have a yoke of iron around our neck, you can't use that. That's been fulfilled. Even though it says you're gonna go into slavery again on slave cargo ships, oh, that's already been fulfilled. And I'm like, Negro, all the Gentiles that are with this awakening, that are with Yah, the Creator, resurrecting his favorite family, the apple of his eye, his only begotten, the very dearly beloved daughter of Zion, that is the children of Israel. I welcome y'all as well. And y'all, this is about to be an action-packed one. Y'all, this is going to be something legendary. So first, y'all already know what to do. Smash that like button, comment, share to everybody that you know, subscribe. This is going to be a historical treat. Also, I want you guys to do this for me. Y'all, if you want to support this channel, I'm going to put that P.O. box up, and I'm also going to put that Cash App up. Y'all donations help us to do this work at the highest level, to go into the DNA research, to go into the archaeology, to go into the old books and the Russian icons and the Vornay, to be able to bring out the history of Zion and the resurrection of Yah's people. Y'all allow us to do this work, so y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. If y'all want that secret, we're getting to the last stretch, y'all. Next Sabbath, we're going to announce that winner, or those winners. It's going to be about 2 or 3, maybe even more. Y'all, we're going to do this multiple times. But y'all comment about that cipher. We're going through, we're tallying, we're doing all that good stuff. And y'all are excited, we're excited. So family, we are about to jump into this thing where we deal with the Matrix. The concept of the Matrix, concepts, the red pill, the blue pill. Family, we are about to break that trilogy down just legendarily. We're gonna go through precepts, we're gonna go through history, we're gonna go through prophecy, all to show the hidden truth that's in the Matrix. Y'all, if you have not seen the Matrix trilogy, I believe it is on HBO Plus. You can check it out there. I think it's on Netflix. There is so many prophetic truths in that movie, family. So first, we're gonna go ahead and jump in, because I know we probably got a lot of new people. We're about to go ahead and go into this thing. I'm gonna show you guys a clip that gives you an overall summary of the trilogy. Now, if you don't want it, y'all might want to skip this part. It's about 6 minutes if you have not watched it. But if y'all want to go ahead and see it, it's probably gonna have spoilers in it. I'm gonna show y'all that clip, and we're gonna come back through and dissect that thing. All praises to the Most High Yah. Let's go, Zion Dynasty style.
20th anniversary of one of the most influential action movies of the modern era. Here's the Matrix trilogy in 6 minutes. Remember, after this, there is no turning back. You stay in Wonderland. This rabbit hole is full of spoilers. Thomas A. Anderson is a program writer for a respectable software company who helps his landlady carry out her garbage.
Yeah, that's me.
However, he's also Neo, a notorious hacker who spends night after night trawling the web for traces of a hacker named Morpheus and selling code to folks who are clearly vampires trying to pay the bills between seasons of Buffy.
Definitely.
Driven by the question, what is the Matrix, Neo is led to an encounter with fellow hacker Trinity and later with Morpheus himself, who offers Neo the choice between learning the truth about the Matrix or returning to his regular life. Neo chooses the former and wakes up bald and naked in a goop-filled pod. He's dumped out, rescued, and brought aboard Morpheus's hovercraft, the Nebuchadnezzar. Here, Neo learns the truth about the real world. At some point in the 21st century, eggheads who never got around to watching The Terminator created AI.
Mean artificial intelligence.
Which led to a devastating war between humans and machines, the history of which is explored further in the Animatrix. At any rate, humanity's last gambit was to black out the sky and deny the machines their required solar energy. But that failed, and the machines turned humans into batteries instead, pacifying our minds in a shared simulation of the world at the end of the 20th century, the Matrix. Neo also learns that free humans in the real world live in an underground city called Zion, and that, when back in the Matrix, he must beware of agents, deadly programs designed to destroy threats. On top of that, he learns Kung Fu by downloading it to his brain.
I know Kung Fu.
Morpheus believes Neo is the One, a special human who freed the first humans and founded Zion, who was prophesied by the all-knowing Oracle to return and end the war.
Whoa.
However, while in the Matrix, the Oracle tells Neo he is not the One.
Sorry, kid.
And that he will have to make a choice between sacrificing Morpheus or sacrificing himself. Morpheus is captured by the agent leader, Agent Smith, but Neo mounts a rescue mission with the help of Trinity and guns.
Lots of guns.
During the rescue, Neo begins to demonstrate extraordinary abilities, and he and Trinity temporarily defeat the agents.
Dodge this.
After Morpheus and Trinity escape, Neo is seemingly killed by Smith, completing the Oracle's prophecy, but Neo comes back to life with godlike power, because he is the One, and the Oracle was just pulling his leg. Neo blows up Smith, and later sends the machines an ultimatum before flying into the sky in what would have been an amazing end to the story. But it wasn't, and 6 months later, Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus are called to attend an emergency meeting led by Captain Niobe, who informs all assembled that an army of machines is tunneling towards Zion. knowledge that stems from the events of an Animatrix short and also the 2003 game Enter the Matrix. Agents crash the meeting, but Neo fends them off, and afterwards we discover Smith survived his last encounter with Neo and now has the ability to clone himself. Smith then assimilates a human rebel called Bane, who he uses to escape the Matrix to the real world. Neo visits the Oracle again, who Neo has realized is not human, but a program within the Matrix.
Bingo.
She informs Neo he must go into the Source, the machine mainframe, to save Zion. To do that, he needs to get the Keymaker, who he must first free from the Merovingian, an old program protected by other exiled programs hiding with him to avoid deletion. An army of Smiths ambush Neo, gloating that Neo freed Smith to become a powerful rogue program, but Neo escapes. The Keymaker is liberated, despite interference from agents and the Merovingian's best henchmen. The Smiths try to stop Neo from reaching the Source, killing the Keymaker, but they're unsuccessful, and Neo enters the door and meets a program called the Architect, who created the Matrix and presumably knows all 11 secret herbs and spices.
Quite right.
The Architect explains that the concept of the One is a deliberate anomaly of the Matrix designed to maintain control over the small minority of humans who don't accept the Matrix. The machines tolerate a small human rebellion for a while, but then they crush it and allow the One to restart it. There have been 5 ones before Neo, and the machines have destroyed Zion 5 times already. The Architect tells Neo he may either enter the Source, disseminate his special code, and restart Zion from scratch for the 7th time, or re-enter the Matrix to save Trinity, who has encountered an agent and is currently falling to her death. This, according to the Architect, will result in the extinction of humanity, but Neo chooses love and saves Trinity. Back in the real world, the Nebuchadnezzar is blown up by machines, but the crew narrowly escape. Just before they're overrun, Neo demonstrates an ability to control machines in the real world, destroying their attackers. Neo slips into a coma before the crew is saved by the Hammer. The Hammer captain explains that the fleet has been decimated by a premature EMP blast set off by an unknown culprit. There was only one survivor, and it's revealed to be Bane, or rather, Smith. Cue the Rage Against the Machine.
What you say, what you say, what you say, what?
So, Neo and the Smith-possessed Bane are both still unconscious in the Hammer, but Neo is still able to access the Matrix. After half an hour of faffing about, Neo meets with the Oracle one more time, who has changed her appearance. The Oracle tells Neo that Smith will destroy both the Matrix and the real world unless Neo can stop him. After Neo leaves, Smith arrives, ruins some cookies, and assimilates the Oracle, which he's pretty stoked about. Back in the real world, the Hammer finds Niobe and her crew and reactivate her ship, the Logos.
She lives again.
Niobe gives her ship to Neo and Trinity, who use it to travel to the Machine City, while the rest of them head back to Zion in the Hammer. The Smith-possessed Bane hides aboard the Logos and blinds Neo, but Neo prevails because he's basically a digital daredevil now. The Hammer reaches Zion and uses its EMP to temporarily stave off the machine assault, while Neo and Trinity reach the Machine City. Trinity is killed, but Neo survives and brokers a deal with the Machine's leader. He'll destroy Smith, who is now an unprecedented threat to both humanity and the Machine mainframe, in exchange for peace with Zion. Neo is jacked into the Matrix and fights Smith, who appears to have assimilated the whole Matrix. Neo deliberately surrenders to Smith, who suspects it's a trick, but assimilates Neo anyway, allowing the Machine's leader to send through a surge that deletes Smith and every copy of him, restoring everyone to their original selves, including programs like the Oracle. The Matrix is reset, the machines retreat from Zion, the war is over, and the Architect confirms to the Oracle that humans who wish to leave the Matrix will be freed peacefully.
Let's go! All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High, y'all. There is so much to unpack in that clip, y'all. This movie is prophetic at the highest level. Out of all the movies that I've seen, family, this movie describes Israel, describes the awakening, describes just so many concepts of our people, the so-called diaspora of the African continent, right? The Hebraic, Israelite Moors, right? It explains so much of our history, this awakening, us returning back to Zion, literally, y'all, it's just everything in it. But y'all, we're now about to break down even in more detail and see how the Matrix shows this entire breakdown. So you have Neo, who is supposed to be this chosen savior. So they're playing off of this Christianized understanding of Neo. They're trying to portray him as this Christ-like figure. We understand that because him, Trinity, and Morpheus are supposed to represent this Trinity, which represents this God-like trio. Now you also have the antagonist to that. You have this beast machine empire that is ruling through these agents that rule through the Matrix. Now, so when you look at Neo, Neo is meant to come out of that Matrix mentally. How does he do that? Whoa. Morpheus offers him two choices. I can tell you the truth, and keep you in Wonderland, or give you back your regular mundane life, the lie, and you could just live in bliss. Ignorance is bliss, right? Now, Neo taking that pill, we see that it operates almost like a virus itself. Now, this is prophetic, family. The angel tells the prophet Daniel and the apostle John to eat of this bitter and this sweet roll. This goes into the revelation of truth. So that red pill is actually a virus that allows Neo to not be perceived as being alive. This is where you get into the concept of being born again. When these people took the red pill, these were the souls that weren't a part of the Matrix. Now that gets into a lot of stuff, y'all. We got to deal with it. So there was an underground city in the Matrix called Zion. Y'all got to understand. There was this underground Zion of rebel rousers, of those that knew the Matrix was false and had taken the red pill at some point. So these people that took the red pill were part of this rebel organization of Zion. Neo is recruited by these two hackers that are able to infiltrate the Matrix and exploit the lie of it. And they recruit Neo, give him the red pill that almost puts him in a death state, to have the beast or the machine empire think that he's dead and he's not a part of the Matrix. Y'all gotta hear what I'm saying? Now let's connect this to the truth. Now, when you take the understanding of knowing that Yahusha, that white Jesus, never existed, but the life, the truth of that man was a black Negro who was coming to save his people, similar to a Malcolm X or a Dr. King, when you know that truth, it gets your brain overwhelmed. I'm just gonna admit it. You can get overwhelmed, you can get burdened, you can get tired by that thing. You can be like, oh my God, this is the world we live in. Our people have been going through this from this people. But in the end, it heals y'all's people by reconnecting them to the truth of who they are, because their identity is hid in the truth of Yahusha. When you dive into the life of the actual man that walked this earth, our people are freed, because we find, wait a second, he had hair like the pure wool, arms and feet the color of brass. He was sent to save his people Israel, to get them back to the land they've been carried into captivity. It frees our people by knowing the truth of who that man is. And that's the red pill that awakens our people to know that the Matrix of this false prophetic, this false prophet, and the beast, and this mark of the beast, the image of the beast, this white Jesus. Wait, America ain't no Christian country. They don't love our people. They're the fourth beast of Daniel. They're the iron mixed with clay, set up to rule this earth in the end. They used our ancestry, whitewashed it to enslave us. When you understand by the red pill, you come out of the Matrix. And you see in the movie, when they come out of the Matrix, their physical body is actually liberated. Their mind is what is freed first, which frees their body. Because in the movie, their bodies are used as these batteries for these machine titans that seek to use them to power their empire. Y'all gotta understand. So they want to keep the body strong, but keep the mind in this Matrix type system. They try to keep the mind enslaved. But when you take the red pill, it frees the person's body and their mind to see through the illusion of the Matrix that is not real. Now, this machine empire is the real world behind the Matrix. Now, the people that are born into this lie system are just walking around, they just doing their daily life, you know, they think that this is reality. It's not until they take the red pill that they see that, man, well, this is not real. My body is used as a battery by some alien machine empire. Understand? So we see all these different parallels in the Matrix movie. Not just that, but the underground city of Zion has these ships where the actual bodies of the people reside. It's almost like the heaven versus the fake. The Most High says through the Apostle Paul that we are seated in heavenly places. So the actual kingdom of Zion is the real, where their bodies are, and they have ships called like the Nebuchadnezzar, which goes into that captivity. We already know about that. And they also have a ship called the Hammer, y'all, which goes into Judah Maccabee during the time of the Maccabees. And this is where these rebel Zion, that city, that kingdom reside. Now they actually have a underground country, right, that is outside of the Matrix, right? Now this gets into the kingdom. Well, I'm telling y'all, this stuff is legendary. This gets into the African continent, if you will. Now we see all of this taking place with this people that they're trying to fight and free the souls of the people in the system. Let's go deeper. but the system has protocols. This is where Agent Smith comes in. Agent Smith is almost a virus himself that can manipulate the system to enforce every soul that's in the matrix to comply. This gets into the mark of the beast. This gets into that your law, your customs, you're saying you don't eat pork. None of that matters anyway. That's done away with in Christ.
Well, you're a hate tribe, a hate group. You know, you're a terrorist organization if you're a Muslim. If you talk about some Hebrew Israelites.
They have systems set up to weed out any person that would buck the system. This is what Agent Smith is. But not just that, Agent Smith can clone himself. Agent Smith can take his virus, take who he is, and replicate somebody else to be able to manipulate and watch that entire matrix. He does this through the character Bane. Now y'all gotta check this movie out. I know I'm dropping a lot of nuggets, y'all. This is a lot of stuff. So Bane is made to be Agent Smith, but looks like Bane, to infiltrate Zion and betray the movement. Y'all gotta hear what I'm saying. This gets into Judas. This gets into COINTELPRO. This gets into a lot of different agents that were used to take out black leaders. It's so much in that, y'all. This is a spirit, Agent Smith, that infiltrates different souls to do his dirty work. Now, in the end, we see Neo is victorious and rises above the system and fights against Edom, fights against this beast empire, right? And lays down his life to infiltrate the system and destroy it from within, spreading his programming throughout the matrix. This stuff is deep, y'all. So Yahusha spread the knowledge of the history of who we were through using, like a chess master, the very deception that the nations tried to use. Now, I know that's deep, y'all. Yahusha was playing chess with these boys. He laid down his life to spread the Bible to the four corners of the earth, because Israel would be scattered, Zion would be scattered and deceived using this imprint. But he said, I'm gonna use that because all I have to do is reawaken them, unplug them from it, and now all of them have access to the scriptures in the lands of their captivity through the false prophet that was promoting white Jesus the whole time. The Most High's wisdom, y'all. The Most High played Satan by allowing Satan to do his thing just so he could use what Satan meant for evil to turn around for the good of the restoration of the family of the Most High by awakening us back to our history. So y'all, I can go on and on about this movie, y'all. Y'all gotta check that thing out. There are so many layers to y'all's people being Zion. I think in the second Matrix, it's predominantly black folks. When y'all check that movie out, it's an underground city. You're like, man, this looks like the kingdom. And that's what it is. The people that have been called out of the darkness, the spell of Babylon, the whore in the red dress that we also see in the Matrix, Agent Smith and all these false prophets, our people have been sealed with the red pill to know who we are, to know our history and the truth from the lie of white Jesus, turning back to Torah, turning back to our history, our heritage, and our culture, and serving the Most High. So y'all, it's a lot in that thing. Y'all gotta check that thing out. So I'm about to deal with the false prophet a little bit, family. I'm about to connect the false prophet, the ideology of the false prophet, with the movie Matrix to show you that it dropped a profound truth about the false prophet. Now we've dealt, y'all check out these videos. We've dealt with the mark of the beast. We dealt with the whore of Babylon, right? We connected the mark of the beast with an ideological framework. We connected the mark of the beast with an ideological framework, right? A mindset, a deceptive, cunning entrapment that puts our people to sleep spiritually, right? A lot of y'all are saying, well, it's a literal chip, it's a literal this. It starts in the mind. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. When you trust in oppression, when you trust in your enemies, that brainwashes you and makes you more susceptible to other things. Like if they put a microchip in your hand, you fear Babylon. You fear America. You fear white people so much, even above your own self, you trust them, so you're more susceptible to do the other stuff. But y'all don't get it misconstrued. The mark of the beast starts in your mind. Starts with white Jesus. Starts with you being deceived into trusting your enemies. So we dealt with the mark of the beast. We dealt with the whore of Babylon, which would be this royal woman in red. I'm telling y'all, this royal woman in red that would deceive y'all's people, that would trample y'all's people, that last great city, linking that to America, the daughter of Babylon, the Statue of Liberty, all that stuff, we've been through it. So first, we got to deal with this false prophet. Now, we talked about the Antichrist spirit, which I might need to do a follow-up. We talked about the whore of Babylon. We talked about the mark of the beast, but we did not deal with the false prophet. Now, what I am showing you all, the false prophet causes the people of the earth to worship the beast, and the beast gets its power from the dragon. Now, we connected all of this prophetically to this revived Roman Empire, which is the fourth beast that Daniel saw, which is also the same manifestation of the statue dream that Nebuchadnezzar had. So the history of Esau is our foundation, where we showed that so-called Europeans, the so-called white man, their people would be the last ruling empire to rule the earth before Hamashiach, Yahushua, returns to regather Zion and take us back to the land and establish his government world without end. We saw that the Edomite people, Esau's descendants, we know that Zepho, the grandson of Esau, migrated to Europe and became ancient Rome. That the Bible tells us in the book of Jasher, now this goes into the Apocrypha, books that they took out, we saw how Zepho migrated to Europe. He conquered all of Tubal. He freed the Chittim people from King Angeus of Africa, right? And now I gotta drop something about King Angeus. King Angeus' capital, Dinhaba, is actually in the Middle East. So this king of Africa, the Bible shows you the Middle East in antiquity was Northeast Africa. So Zepho is able to conquer Angeus, unite all of Tubal, and becomes a king. He sets the groundwork for where we get Zeus from. Zepho is the biblical historical Zeus that becomes the Roman people, that becomes one with the children of Chittim. And that is a base that grows over time. While our people are going through Egypt, we're going through the promised land, Zepho is behind the scenes becoming a mighty empire. Y'all understand? We looked at the legend of the Jews. Now y'all gotta understand, when we deal with European people, when we deal with white people, they are blessed by the Most High Yah. I'm telling y'all, Esau is blessed by the Most High Yah. We read in the legend of the Jews that Abraham tells Rebekah that the reason that you're going through what you're going through is because there's two nations warring in your womb. We know Rebekah was pregnant with two twins, Jacob and Esau. We read about this in Genesis 25. And there's this tussle, there's this bustle. She like, what's this rumbly in my tumbly going on? Right? All of this is going on in her womb. And the Most High reveals to her that it's because you have twins in your womb. And that they're going to become two mighty nations, both blessed by the Most High Yah. Both having worlds of their own. That goes into that John 3:16. You have to know the context of the word world. Let's go. Which is talking about Israel. Isaiah 45:17 says that Israel shall be saved in the Most High Yah with an everlasting salvation. Neither shall they be ashamed or confounded. World without end. So family, understand that world, this was always prophesied about rulership. When we talk about the kingdom of heaven, Peter said in Acts chapter 1 verse 6, Yahushua, are you going to establish the kingdom for Israel? So Esau would have a mighty empire. He would give birth to the Edomite people, the ancient Romans, the ancient Europeans. When you look at Vespasian and Titus, the Caesar dynasty that would rule the earth, and Jacob would give birth to Solomon, who would rule the earth in TORAH, the Israelite Hebraic people, our people that would not rule based on a capitalistic, critical race, theory-based society, but would rule the world after a family mindset, a family of I am because we are. And if Big Mama had Kool-Aid and Aunt Sally had sugar, they all drank a glass together. Understand, these two different world ideologies would war through the test of time. And that Esau we see in the book of Esdras, in 2nd Esdras chapter 6 verse 9, it says that for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. Why do I go through all this? We know Edomite is the last ruling people. The Edomite people are the last ruling people that are gonna rule before Yeshua returns. Who are the Edomite descendants today? We're gonna deal with it. In the book of Obadiah, it says that they would dwell in the clefts of the rock. Not just that. But the scripture says that Esau, Edom, would exalt themselves as the eagle. Whoa! And would seek to set their nest in the stars. All praises be to the Most High Yah. So we have clues. We know that Esau is going to be the last ruling empire. We know that this people would dwell in the clefts of the rock. We know that they would exalt themselves as the eagle. They would seek to set their nest in the stars. We looked at Neil Armstrong that said, "For the eagle has landed."
Tranquility Base here. The eagle has landed.
Not just that, but we already saw that different Jewish rabbis know that this is linked to America, and America will be that last empire. Let's check that out.
The Persian, meaning that Rome, Edom, America, that's going to be the last one standing. Meaning that Rome, Edom, America, that's going to be the last one standing. Meaning that Rome, Edom, America, that's going to be the last one standing.
So family, we see Esau, the end of the world. His people would dwell in the clefts of the rock. They would exalt themselves as an eagle. They would try to have a space force and set their nest in the stars. And that this people would give birth to the last great empire before the Most High returns. This goes into America. This goes into Europe. You have to understand the dragon. The dragon of Revelation 12. Y'all check these videos out. Wars against the woman, which represents Israel, that gives birth to the Mashiach. And this dragon, which goes back to Herod, that dragon which goes back to Herod, that tries to war against this woman, we know that parable has so many layers, that not just is it a red dragon against this celestial godmother, but also it represents Herod coming against Mary, that was going to give birth to Yeshua. We see that in Matthew chapter 2, the angel tells Joseph and Mary to take the child to Africa to hide until Herod's dead. But not just that. This is prophetic. This is John dropping a nugget. He was in captivity. He is talking about the Edomite people perpetually coming against the children of Israel that keep the Most High's Torah in the faith of Yahushua. But also we went into the Rothschild dynasty, how they're that dragon, that people, that chief family of Edomites, the red shield that funds all these European nations, the beast system of NATO, America, all that good stuff. So when we go into the false prophet family, you have to understand all these things. The red dragon is the chief synagogue of Satan, is Satan himself fueling the beast, fueling this last great empire of America, the daughter of Babylon, the whore of Babylon, leading NATO. So when we know this history, we understand that the false prophet then comes to aid the beast system in power. Understand, the false prophet's job is to deceive the whole world and have them worship the beast and thereby Satan without them knowing. Y'all, we got to deal with this. And how does the false prophet do this? Through the mark or the image of the beast. What is the image of the beast? White Jesus. This is the tool. We're going to deal with it. This is the tool that the false prophet uses. This Western Roman Catholic Christianity that is a revival of the ancient Roman Empire to fuel the Roman descendants, their Roman style of government. American them know their history from the Colosseums to the House, to the Senate. All of this originates from the people of Chittim, the Greco-Roman people of which America and the European nations are descendants of these ancient Roman Europeans. So this second beast, which is an offshoot, a revival of ancient Rome, gets its power from this false prophetic religious system. Y'all gotta hear me. Which is talking about Christianity. I'm sorry, white Jesus on the mind. I gotta tell y'all the truth. White Jesus on the mind is the mark of the beast that causes our people to trust in oppression, to say, oh, well, you know, race don't matter, color don't matter. Y'all, we can't do this stuff. You know, they gonna get us. You know, God working with these countries, America, we can't do nothing. They'll push the red button. That is the fear of the white man that is enforced by the image of the beast. Y'all gotta know history, which is Caesar Borgian, white Jesus, a man of who never existed historically. Now we're gonna deal with how cunning the false prophet's deception really is, and we're gonna slow walk that thing, family. So first I'm gonna show y'all a clip connecting how the false prophet is linked to that blue pill, that deception that Morpheus we see in the Matrix movie goes into. Now let's look at that clip.
What are the blue pill and the red pill in the Matrix? Undoubtedly, One of the most famous scenes in The Matrix is when Morpheus offers Neo the choice of the red pill or blue pill, symbolizing the truth and the lies. The term "take the red pill" has transcended beyond the films, and it is now part of today's pop culture. Generally, in order to offer acceptance of the truth, no matter how difficult it is to believe. Although Morpheus gives a metaphorical explanation to what these pills are, behind them lies something much more than just simple colored capsules. Welcome to Matrix Explained, and today we're going to take a look at what are the red and blue pills. Morpheus states the following about these pills. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. There are several hypotheses that could explain what the red pill is. The most common and accepted one is that the red pill is some type of poison or computer virus that has several purposes. 1. To wake up from the Matrix. 2. To send a false signal to the machines that the person who took the pill had perished. And 3. To allow to be tracked by those who gave the pill. After Neo takes the red pill, everything around him is distorting. He begins to suffocate, as if he had just swallowed poison. He then wakes up and is quickly disconnected by a robot, which we can assume it believed that Neo was no longer useful. And finally, he is found by Morpheus. So, we can deduce that the red pill is a computer virus. On the other hand, the usefulness of the blue pill is more philosophical than practical. As we mentioned in the Dangers of Waking Up from the Matrix video, knowing the truth about the Matrix can cause harm to a person. The shock and horror of discovering the truth can even kill them. Therefore, the blue pill works as an outlet. Morpheus gives them a choice. The people are the ones who choose. In the Matrix comics, there is a story of a female hacker who actually chose the blue pill. She then spent the rest of her days in depression, wondering what would have happened if she had taken the red pill, wondering what the Matrix is. These questions destroyed her. She went from being an incredibly skilled hacker to being melancholic. This would have been Neo's future if he had taken the blue pill, and the chosen one would have never existed. This pill does not erase memories or anything of the sort. It only represents the choice to live in ignorance with a question that will never be answered. The blue pill is to accept the lies as truths, settling for not looking beyond what is in front of one's eyes, fearing what reality could be. The red pill is the virus that destroys your reality. But in the end, it shows you the real world, for better or for worse. Which pill would you have taken? The red pill or the blue pill? Would you choose to live in a world of lies to ensure your happiness? Or would you have chosen to see how deep the rabbit hole goes?
Family, I'm telling y'all, we still gonna go even deeper into the Matrix movie, but I gotta set this groundwork so you can understand the breakdown. So Morpheus represents the prophet of the Most High, giving a choice to the people, saying either you could choose to live in simplicity in the blue pill, or you could take the red pill, which is gonna be painful initially, but in the end, it's gonna be beneficial to you to wake you up to what's really going on. A lot of people don't want to deal with race. They don't want to deal with Yeshua or Yahusha historically being a Negro, historically having his beard and his locks, because it's painful to think, and a lot of Europeans think like this, oh, if Christ was a black man and these black people are his people, know what that means? Judgment, right? A lot of them are afraid because they know that what they have done to Yah's people spells out judgment when Yahusha returns. They are afraid of that thing. And our people are afraid to embrace that the hurt and all of this that we went through was prophetic, going back to the curses of Deuteronomy 28. It is a painful, lonely journey. I gotta tell y'all from experience, when you first found this stuff out, when you find out who you are as a people, it's a lonely, angry, bitter almost journey. When you know, man, all this stuff was prophecy and that these nations ain't our friends, they are enemies. We in the land of our captivity, and the alligator bait and the lynching, all of that stuff can overwhelm your spirit. But in the end, it heals you, because now you know everything you went through was the curses fulfilling themselves, and that the Most High God is not done with his people. He loves his people, family, and there's nothing Satan or even ourselves or even the nations can do to change the love that the Father has for a people. See, the nations want you to think,
oh, that's done away with. You know, he divorced Israel.
To have you think that our failure is the end of the story. But the Most High Yah says that every time you see that sun, the moon, the stars, the waves roaring, and the strength thereof, the Most High says, I will never forsake my people for my own name's sake. I swore by my name because I looked to my right and my left, and there was none greater. I couldn't swear by my people's obedience because they were not. I looked for a righteous man that I could find not. And even through all of that, I said, I just swear by myself. Oh my goodness, that everything that I promised Abraham, that I would return his seed back to the land that I swore to him, back to the land that I swore to their forefathers, I'm gonna fulfill that thing. Even if the nations use us as an armor, use us getting caught up in LGBT and destructive identity crises, killing one another and being incarcerated and having these low self-esteem, even in the midst of all that, the Most High said, I will clean up the daughter of my people. I'm gonna clean her up. I'm gonna take her ashes and give her joy. I'm gonna take her depravity and give her beauty. I'm gonna do all of this for my own name's sake. That in the same countries that they said she's a Negro, she's a spick, oh, that's a no good Negro. All of that, all the bywords that the nations would call us, the Most High said, I'm gonna clean that thing up. So we see that the red pill, even though it's painful to know that everything we went through was by divine purpose, right? Even though it makes you angry at the nations, right? It heals you to know the love that a father has for a lineage throughout generations. He's been working this plan to preserve a heritage, right? Now, the blue pill, on the other hand, represents simplicity, this sleep mindset, being unconscious to the truth, not being woke, being a part of the programming of the matrix, which is the system of the false prophet and the beast and the dragon that fuels it. Being caught up in the lies, saying that this don't matter, saying that that's done away with, instead of having the gumption and the gall and the wherewithal to embrace truth and allow truth to be thy guide, even despite where it might lead you. That's the blue pill. So y'all, we're gonna slow walk how deception gets down. Now, if you look at the red and the blue pill, you can substitute the red for the black and white, the truth, the over the fiction, right? You can look at the blue pill as a gray pill. And I'm gonna show y'all why. Because 50 shades of gray is 50 shades of a lie, of mixture. Now, we learned through the Feast of Passover that when you remove the puffed up, when you removed all the vanity, that all you're left with is sincere, humble truth. Anything, y'all gotta hear me, that mixes truth with falsehood is wickedness. And we're gonna slow walk that thing through the scriptures. So we see in Genesis chapter 3, let's read it. In Genesis chapter 3, we see, now the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which the Most High Yah Elohim hath made. And he said unto the woman, did God really say that you can't eat of every tree of the garden? Now y'all we gotta deal with that serpent. Now I just showed y'all that the serpent himself, y'all understand, was a crafty beast, but he wasn't in the literal sense. Now we saw when the Most High cursed the serpent that he cursed him to crawl upon his belly. Now we know that this is metaphorical. This is where understanding the Hebraic undertone, the cultural nuances of the Hebrew scriptures helps you understand that this being that appeared to Eve did not show up as some dragon saying, do this, eat this fruit. He came as an angel of light. How do we know that? In 2 Corinthians chapter 11, we see that the Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians 11 says that I fear that the same way that the serpent deceived Eve, he will beguile you as well. And when we read down in chapter 11 of 2 Corinthians, we see a mystery that the Satan of the scriptures, that the serpent, this deceiver, appeared to her as an angel of light. Now we know that angels can look just like human beings. They can show their wings, or they can look like just a glorious regular person. This is what was going on. Now the mystery is, we know that Lucifer, the spirit, has a people, the Edomite people. Some people suggest about the ancient Horite people, these Neanderthalian people, were actually offshoots of angelic beings that fell. Now that's the book of Enoch, y'all. I'm gonna do a whole series on that later, about the fallen angels and that seed that goes through these cave dwellers. Y'all understand? So Esau, his progenitor, Satan himself, appeared as the father of Edomite people. This poised, glowing, angelic being that almost looked like modern day Europeans, I'm gonna show y'all, came to Eve and offered her, man, if you eat of this tree, you will know good and you will know evil. Now, let's go to Matthew to see the mystery of a tree that has the knowledge of good and evil. Let's go to that. So in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, beginning at verse 15, it reads, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves." Now we see a principle that Yahusha is dropping some major wisdom on our forefathers. He said, beware of false prophets. How do you know a false prophet? That gives you, understand, the knowledge of good and evil. Understand where I'm going? Now, a lot of y'all are like, well, what about in the movie? It's not what y'all probably thinking I'm setting y'all up for. You just follow me. So we see that false prophets, you would know them because they will present themselves as a sheep, but inside they will be ravening wolves. We read in the book of Revelation that the image of the beast would appear like a lamb, but mouth and speak as a dragon. This goes into America, European society, operating under the guise of chosen people and a Christian nation, but their policies, the way they treat humanity behind the scenes, actually contradicts everything that they seek to portray. Y'all understand? Let's keep reading. So in Matthew chapter 7 verse 16, you see, "You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so every tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree brings forth evil fruit." Verse 18, "A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit." Y'all, this stuff is deep. I know a lot of y'all probably heard that and read that and were like, okay, yeah, that goes into people's behaviors. If they say they're a good person or say that they believe in the Most High, but their actions deny it, it's deeper than that. Yahusha is dropping a mystery, a nugget going all the way back to Genesis. He's saying that that tree in the garden, that just because it had the knowledge of good, it also had the knowledge of evil. And a good tree cannot bear forth evil fruit. Hence, that tree that was in the garden was a wicked, corrupt tree from the beginning. The illusion was a bit of truth mixed with falsehood, which we know the whole tree would have been corrupt, but it allured Eve. It beguiled Eve. The Satan serpent finessed Eve. This angelic Edomite progenitor finessed Eve. Why do I break it down like that? Because when you look at the false prophet, he takes truth and mixes it with falsehood to rule the entire earth. Let's look at that. In the book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 20, it says, "And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone." Y'all, let's break that thing down about that false prophet. So this false prophet would have an image that it promoted to deceive everybody, and by which allow the beast to reign, that empire to rule, that second Roman resurrected empire to rule. But not just that, this would give glory to Satan behind the scenes. So we see the Edomite people being the last ruling people, this chief Rothschild family funding this white supremacist European era of America and NATO. But not just that, these countries having a false prophet with a false image that fuels a religious mindset that deceives everybody, y'all. This is going into Christianity, the westernized Roman interpretation led by Caesar Borgia, who is the false image of Jesus. But let's see how the power of that operates. The power of Christ, the power of the white Jesus complex gets its power from being truth mixed with falsehood. How do I know that? The biggest, most recognized symbol in the entire earth is the cross. I'm telling you, I might put that image up to show you the most recognized symbols on the earth, among which you might see the Jumpman. I think he's top 5. I was like, man, MJ is top 5. But the cross is also at the top of the list. Christianity is the worldwide leading religion, and through Christianity, the nations have been subjugated. We saw this was the original intent of Constantine I during the Roman Council of Nicaea, where he sought a way to unify Rome and perpetuate the Roman Empire. Let Rome live through the image of this cross he saw in the sky. The cross is the most recognized symbol in the earth, y'all. So when you know that the cross is the most recognized symbol, that most of these European countries profess to be Christian nations, and that through which they have taken us into slavery and subjugated all people groups, then you can find out what truth is. So we know that deception and lies is truth mixed with falsehood. But we can slow walk that thing and dissect the lie to find the truth. Because if the lie is truth mixed with false, we can get rid of the false and find out the truth. Let's do that thing. So white Jesus, or the image of Christianity, gets its power from the Hebraic Judean origins. We're gonna deal with it. The facts of Christianity is Yahusha, the Israelite people, the Hebraic origins, Torah. That was an actual person that lived. We know that Josephus actually walked the earth, and that Josephus is a contemporary of Yahusha, and he recounts that this man suffered during the Roman occupation and was crucified. Everybody knows that the historical Yahusha was an actual man that existed. People debate on stuff like his divinity. Was he the son of the Most High? Was he a prophet? All of these different things. But we know he existed. What we also know is that he was a Hebrew. He was an Israelite. He was a Judean. And when we examine that people that would have lived in Northeast Africa, we know that they wouldn't have been the pale type. We know that Revelation chapter 1 verses 14 through 15 says that his face, his arms, his feet, the color of brass as if it burned in a furnace. Polished brass with a shine to that thing. A brown brother, right? We see that he had hair like the pure wool. We also read that in Daniel chapter 7. So when you dissect the lie, you will find the truth. You have to look at the ruling image in the earth right now and separate the wheat from the chaff. Understand? So white Jesus and this Christianity that rules the earth, when you dissect the truth, you find the black man. You got to understand, that's the power of that image, because it is fueled after a real understanding of a man that actually lived, the chosen people of the Creator, and it gets its power from that African Hebraic sentiment mixed with white supremacy, which is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, understand, which is the blue pill. It's gray. It takes black and white and mixes it, dilutes it. The Most High says, even with your fabric, you're not supposed to, y'all, oh my goodness, you're not supposed to even wear fabrics that have multiple different elements in them. Silk mixed with cotton, this kind of thing. The Most High says that's an abomination. The Most High separates the clean from the unclean, the holy from the unholy. And the Most High is all about weighing things in a balance and keeping things in their proper perspective. So when you see somebody taking Yahusha, a Negro, Judean, African man that lived in Africa, that dwelt in Egypt, that ran from the white Edomite Herod and lived in Africa because the angel of the Most High Yah told him to go there. When you know the African Hebraic Judaistic views of the historical Yahusha, you see where the lie came in. where they colonized the ideology and the history and the heritage and the culture of our people and weaponized that thing. They took the ancestry of our people and they whitewashed it to enslave us because they know it will resonate in your mind. The best kept secret, the best lie is truth mixed with falsehood. Because our forefathers knew about the Most High Yah. They knew about Yahusha. Because African Christianity is older by at least 1,000 years than Roman Catholicism. Y'all got to know your history. In Ethiopia, they already had ancient images of Yahusha. The lie was a people that brought that knowledge, but in a whitewashed form, to subjugate the minds of the people by force. They took us over to America and stripped us of our history and kept white Jesus that resonated with our spirits but enslaved our minds. Understand what I'm saying? Now let's go to the next chapter. So in Revelation chapter 20, we see this false prophet as well. In Revelation chapter 20, we see in verse 10 it says, "And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night." So y'all, I hope you took notes. I hope y'all got something out of this. Y'all remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Also drop that cipher if you want that thing. And your boy sends peace, love, blessings, and Israelite power to each and every one of y'all. I love y'all with the love of the Messiah. Be blessed, victorious, prosperous in everything that you do. And stay woke, Zion. We the people, and we got next. Yoruba B'nai Ephraim of the tribe of Joseph. I love you all with the love of the Messiah. Shalom. All praises.